Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing my, February wrap up. Okay, so for the month of February, I read a total of 11 books. I did have a projected TBR of 13, but yeah, I kind of, those last 3 days I was just like, I'm not doing it, so we tried. All right, the first book that I read actually wasn't on my TBR, but it did come on my Libby app, so I just decided to pick it up because it is by a Black author, and I was reading Black books for the month of February, and it is Opposite of Always by Justin A. Reynolds. And I gave this book 5 stars. I absolutely loved this book. Like, it made me teary-eyed as ever, and it was just like a phenomenal book. And it had some really good life lessons in it. If you don't know what this book is about, it's basically about this girl named Jack, who meets this girl at a party whose name is Kate. And Kate ends up pretty much dying, and he keeps getting thrown back into the future, or excuse me, not the future, but the past. At every point that he gets thrown back is meeting her at a party. And on the first try, he thinks he has to like save her, or he has to find a way to save her. And then, things get affected. So like, his friend life gets affected, his family life gets affected, and he just has to go ahead and try to find the right way to fix it. And it just goes through like tons of different like scenarios of how he gets his thing fixed, if he even can get it fixed. I'm not gonna spoil the ending for you, but you should definitely check it out. I really, really loved it. I loved the life lessons in it, and that it's kind of like also trying to teach you like the balance of life between, your personal relationships, your friend relationships, and your family. And yeah, just trying to balance all those things. And I really love this book. You should check it out. The next book I read was Go Tell It on the Mountain by James Baldwin. I gave this book also 5 stars. I really, really enjoyed this book. It was the first James Baldwin book that I have read. And essentially it's just following a ton of different family members that are connected. It starts out with one of the young sons and goes and follows his story. And this family is pretty much a heavy Christian family. Or more so they're projected to show as if they're a Christian family, and it just follows like the discovery of like each other's sins and their faults and repenting and things like that. It's not like I guess it is a Christian story, but also it's not, because it's basically just like revealing everyone's like sins in it, and like how are they going to work on them if they're not going to work on it, and how their choices affect the next person. It's a really short book. It's not even, I think it's like, it's a little over 200 pages. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to pick up anything else from James Baldwin. Alright, the next book that I read was One Dark Throne by Kendare Blake. I buddy read this with Princess over at Castle Library. This is the second in the Throne series, or whatever it's called. I can't remember what the name of this book is called. Three Dark Crowns. The Three Dark Crowns series. This is the second, so I'm not really going to spoil it. But if you don't know what this series is about, the series is about three triplets. Wow. A set of triplets who, when they turn 16, have to fight each other for their crown. And the last one to live is going to be the queen of this island, or not island, but like territory. And it just follows the sisters discovering their magic, discovering kind of like what they're going to do, what their plans are to win the crown, if they're having doubts and things like that. And funny fucking story, excuse my language, I spoiled myself for this book. I accidentally went and bought the third one because I thought it was the second one. I started reading it, and then it was like, now that you're finally the queen, the real queen. And I was like, excuse me, what? What do you mean that they're the queen? But then also I was like, yes, I fucking called it. But like, reading this, it wasn't as bad of a spoiler because it's not like, it's not really all it looked out to be. So like, yes, I kind of like got a spoiler, but not really. But yeah, I was pretty much a dumbass. So I gave this book, what did I give this book? I gave this book 4 stars. I really still enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend this series, and I do plan on reading on in the next book. I just don't know if it's going to be in March. Alright, the next book that I picked up was How Long Till Black Future Month by Nic Jemisin. I honestly love this book. I want to say I pretty much gave it 5 stars because for the most part, I tabbed it up because translucent fucking sticky notes, like, hello. Writing in the book without writing in the book. Phenomenal. But yes, because this was an anthology of short stories by Nic Jemisin. It's a bunch of sci-fi fantasy stories. I honestly I overall gave it 5 stars, and I would definitely recommend it. There are some really short stories in here that I loved, and I was like, I need more. But I'm just gonna quickly go through like what I rated all the stories. So the first one is The City Born Great. I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I'm not gonna say the names of the stories. I'm just going to like go in order of how they are in the book. The next one I gave 5 out of 5 stars. The next one I gave 5 out of 5 stars. The next one after that I gave 4 out of 5 stars. The next one I gave 5 out of 5 stars. 3 out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars. 3 out of 5 stars. 4 out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars. 3 out of 5. 5 out of 5. And I didn't end up rating the last couple of them, but for the most part I have a lot of 5 stars, a lot of 4 stars, and just a few 3 stars. But yes, I really enjoyed this book. Okay, the next book that I read was All Run Out by Nic Stone. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. Excuse me, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. It was very interesting. It was the only frustrating thing about it was like the miscommunication about like between the characters, and like because they weren't communicating with each other, they were kind of hurting each other in a way. So Nic Stone pretty much describes this book as like a true love triangle, and I would have to agree. Like there is some love triangle-y like going on. Okay, I made that word up. But that is going on in the story. Like, you know, one character likes another character who likes another character, but then they start liking that character, and like it just got really it got really interesting because it does follow a boy named Courtney who is best friends with this girl named Jupiter. And they have been best friends since they were children. Like he is like a basketball player, he's kind of popular. She is the feminist, like freedom for, and then just like environmentalist, trying to do the right thing. She's constantly volunteering, which makes him volunteer, and he is secretly in love with her, although plot twist, she's gay. The next book that I read was Slay by Brittney Morris, and hello, 5 stars. Literally 5 stars. I love this book so freaking much. As you guys know, if you don't know, I do love playing video games. If I play video games, I mean I love playing Apex because let's be honest, I don't really play anything else. But I mean I do have other games. My obsession right now is just Apex. So if you want to play with me, my PSN is Pardon Me, I'm Ray. So go ahead and add me and we can play Apex. And I have Red Dead, I play that too. But anyways, this book. This book is so freaking good. This book is about a girl named Kiera Johnson who creates a game called Slay. And this game is pretty much for Black people. The only way you can even get into the game is if you get a password by another person that has the password who just happens to be Black. She goes to this school. She pretty much goes to, it's like one of those, they go to a really nice school. There's only a few Black people in the school and things like that. So her younger sister, goes to the school as well. And she's very outspoken, very, everything about, Black Lives Matter and, the betterment of the Black community. And her boyfriend is also the same, but he's kind of like, white people are evil, and a woman should do this, like a woman should stay in their place, and you shouldn't do anything that isn't bettering the Black community and stuff like that. Like, I guess it's the extreme version of being there for the Black community. And it just follows their relationship and her relationship with her sister, and then essentially someone ends up dying because of Slay. And it just deals with the main character having to deal with what she's supposed to do legally, how she feels emotionally and things like that, and just having to deal with the overall gist of this story. The end plot twist, oh my god, I did not see that coming. This book is literally phenomenal. I tweeted Brittney Morris on Twitter, and I was like, can somebody fund this to make this a game? Because I would definitely play the shit out of it. Amazing. Alright, the next book that I read was Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. This is the second in the Red Rising trilogy. If you didn't know already, I am doing a reread with Princess over at Castle Library. I've said this 1,000 times. We constantly do buddy reads every month because that's literally my best friend. I love her to death. And I had the book upside down. Wow. Call me out. But yes, she's rereading my favorite series, and I just was like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to reread it with you too, because I'm too afraid to pick up Dark Age, or not, wow. Yeah, Dark Age. What am I thinking? I'm getting books confused. I'm trying to combine different names together. But yeah, I was too afraid to pick that up, and I just kind of was like, okay, I'm just going to reread. So she did a reread, and yes, obviously I gave this book 5 stars because it's a reread for me. The next book that I read was Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I actually really, 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 really enjoyed this book. Hey, Willa, you need to go ahead and finish this book so we could talk about it. Okay? Yeah, I kind of called you out there. I'm sorry. Not a negative thing. I just really want to talk to you about this book. But yes, anyways, this book is about a girl named Queenie, and it basically just followed her life. I believe she's in her mid-20s, and her boyfriend end up breaking up. And she's trying to move on because she thinks that they're actually just on a break. They need time from each other. And she kind of takes a turn for the worse. She starts slacking off in her job. She starts sleeping around with tons of fucking men. And it just follows her trying to pick herself back up because she thinks that they're getting back together. And she is just trying to cope with this. And a lot of people just didn't like this book because Queenie is very irritating. She is very frustrating. And although I understand that, I also can kind of see where she's coming from. I can see the self-destruction because a lot of people get super involved in relationships. And when you leave a relationship, it's kind of hard to re-center yourself, especially when you weren't centered before that relationship. So it's kind of I can empathize with Queenie on the way that she is. Now, I'm not saying I would personally go out and do the things that she did, but women do it all the time. And I mean, she's a grown-ass woman, so if she wants to fucking sleep with whoever she wants, she can do that. But yes, it just pretty much follows Queenie on the self-discovery and healing and just going on the right path after this breakup. And I really recommend it. I love it. And this cover, hello. Alright, the next book that I read is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. I honestly love this book. I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know why I didn't give it 5 stars. It just like, it wasn't like someone that is like my all-time favorite. Like, would I reread it again? Yes, totally. But it basically follows, what are their names now? For whatever reason, like, I just like finished it like not even a couple days ago, but I can't remember the characters' names. But essentially it follows two characters, a brother and a sister being a little bit older than the brother. And it's about them being down in the down south, where they finally are living in a like, they're free, obviously, but like kind of like the civil, like not before, like before the Civil War, or not Civil War, but Civil Rights Movement, kind of like in that like Jim Crow era, essentially. And it just follows them moving between being with their mama, their grandma, because their parents kind of just dropped them off with her, and then they were being raised with her. And it's following the sister who ends up going through some traumatic things, and just trying to find the love from her mom and her dad, and as she grows up, and she gets like tossed around between her grandmother, her mom, the dad, and just like trying to navigate life with her brother, who is like kind of like that only solid foundation. And I really, really enjoyed it. I did listen to the audiobook along with this, and Maya Angelou, at least for the one that I listened to, she did actually read it, and I thought it was phenomenal. The next book that I read was Daughters of Nari by Reni Amayo. Excuse me. I gave this book 3.5 stars out of 5 stars. I want to do a video on this because I feel like I set my expectations really high for it because of the cover. And I know that we're not supposed to judge a book by a cover, but I feel like that's really hard to do. One, when books like this, like obviously I'm not dark skinned, so I can't really relate to like seeing representation, but they're black, so I see the representation. And as you guys know, if you haven't seen on Twitter, I love seeing black people on covers, and this cover is literally, can you guys see it? This book is, look at this cover. This cover is literally phenomenal. Like, I love it so much. They are so beautiful. Like, yes. Anyway, this book follows two twin sisters that were separated at birth, and they somehow are finding their way back. Now, some things that were frustrating about this book was they were not good with communicating their feelings. They weren't good at communicating the things that they were going through, and they kind of like constantly second guess themselves, or not like second guess themselves, but like, I don't know, I just don't, and then on top of that, the ending was just not satisfying. It kind of was just like, okay, that was it. It like snapped with a finger, and then like that was the end page. Like literally the end page was like the end of the plot twist. There wasn't even a plot twist because there is no plot twist on here, but like I just thought that I was gonna get more interaction between the twins, and I didn't get that, because you're thinking like it's a book about twins coming to pretty much bring this kingdom back, and that's, I don't know, it was good, but my expectations were really too high for it. So, but I still recommend this book. I still would say that you should pick it up, because it is a really good story. It does follow two different characters. They haven't been raised together, so you get to follow their paths to, how they were raised and things like that. So, all right, and the last book that I read was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. I picked this book up because I'm trying to read Princess's favorite series, because she's reading mine. And if you don't know who Princess is, Castle Library, hello, I feel like I talk about her all the time, so you should know who she is. But yes, yeah, it was, I've seen the movies, and as I was reading the book, I kind of remember the movie. it was alright. There's nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't like my favorite. But that's all that I have for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed any of these books, have read any of these books, or you do want more of my thoughts or discussion, you can go ahead down in the description box and you can find my Twitter, my Instagram, and Goodreads, and you can comment on those, or you can comment down on this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you like. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe, but you don't have to subscribe if you don't want to. I mean, that's up to you. And yeah, if you didn't like this video, as I always say in all of my videos, I really did